Adshem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Ad Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. It's time for a party. Today's party, there are many layers to the below. Minister Stephen, it's very about to have you here. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Ad Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. I missed yesterday. Like 4 flat tires. I was tired. Like a set of Michelins. I was tired. Only got a little bit of energy today, so I won't be on very long. DMZ, I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Ad Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Gonna go ahead and get us prayed in so we can get this party started. I do see one who just came in YouTube land. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Ad Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Liam Randall, Mitch Sharon Tussin, familiar name and face. Very tabah to have you here. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Ad Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. BP, I see you. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your families, and your circles. That's for everybody who came in. I see you greeted and said hi. Liam Randall, Sean Love. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Ad Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum. Akati Deborah, I see you. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. No puedo hablar que se quiere. I can't say what you want. Sean Love. We came here with an agenda. Normally we get together 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Akati Mavis, I see you. It's very tabah to have you here. Familiar name, familiar face. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Ad Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. Solomon Khan, I see you. Fabi, I see you. Melissa Love, I see you. Malawaya Israel, I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Ad Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. It's time for a party. And today's party is called There Are Layers in the Below. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. We seek the protection of our Father against shaitan and the evil ways while we travel the divine path. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata allatheena an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Walad Dolin. Ameen. In the name of our Father, the most merciful, the most compassionate, Lord over all worlds, creator of our divine path. the most merciful, the most compassionate. We ask that you forgive us when we disobey like others have done before. We ask that you teach us to forgive others the way that you forgive us. We thank you for giving us the divine path. I mean, Belinda Klecky or Kleckle, Clan, Chian, Raj Campbell, see you. Namaste. Sabbath, I know you. Familiar name and face. Very tabah to have you here. Hashem Yahav Alahim Shalom Aparak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone, your families, and your circles. Today's party is going to be a short party. I got about that much energy in me. Y'all always tripping on names. Here's a name for you. T9C. Because that's how much energy I got right now. T9C amount. My brother's grandfather had a student in his class whose name was T9C. Bell peppers. Raj Campbell wants to know if I have weed. I don't know. There's grass and trees and all kinds of stuff growing around me. You decide. You know, some of y'all act like y'all ain't never been to a party before, and it shows. Con. Many, many layers to below. The other day I spoke with an anesthesiologist. He'd been retired for about 10 years, though. We got to talking about ether and xenon. Normally, xenon wouldn't come up in the same conversation as ether. Got two gases, right? One's used for lighting to give it a highlight, a hue. And the other is used for medication. You can get ether, you can get nitrous oxide, and a few other different things, right? Is it nitrous oxide? The one that they call laughing gas. And those, they can be inhaled so that if you go through a surgical procedure, your body goes, or your mind goes unconscious. Meaning that even your internal organs will have to be put on a sustained support system. And when they put you under anesthesia, it is so much that, yes, you are completely knocked out, not just asleep. Your brain is not telling your heart to beat. Your central nervous system has shut down to the point where it's not telling your other systems to properly function. Nobody's getting any signals fired. So what they do is they give you a super heavy dose, and then they start introducing more air and other particles and start to dilute that main gas of anesthesia. A brother of mine has gone through several procedures recently, and he told me in one of them they gave him xenon. So I was curious. I said, well, wow, that means that if you stood next to a black light right now, I'd be able to see you light up, huh? Ha, 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 ha. I mean, you being serious, though. He happens to be an artist who likes to make images that light up with black lighting. I happen to be an artist who likes to use xenon filter. So we both had a big chuckle about that. Along with the fact that there happens to be some people who believe that you can exist off of just breathing and absorbing xenon filter. That's that hue that we get in the atmosphere because of the reflection of the water on the surface of the planet, along with the breakdown of sun rays and all that kind of stuff as it's hitting the atmosphere and interacting. Now, I'm not here to tell you that I'm an expert concerning earth science. However, I did pay attention in class to the point where sometimes I would even go and find a book myself and just read it and check what was going on compared to the textbooks or even what the instructor may have told us for that day, for that week, for that month, that semester, that year. You're supposed to do independent studies. Most people didn't like summer school. I had my own summer school. Had plenty of books to read at the house. Was within bike ride. Now, the closest library actually, it was a stretch. On a BMX, it was a stretch. We didn't start going there until I was about 14. And by then, I had gotten on a 10 speed. That made it a little bit more bearable because that was a stretch. And we lived around a bunch of hills. Dreepak, I see you. Dundee Hammond, I see you. Khan, Minister Steve Khan. Margaret Roberts, I see you. Oh yeah, now before there were mountain bikes like the Tour de France kind of bikes, I had an Olympic size 10 speed even back when I was like 5'6", 5'8". I'm only 5'10", 5'11" now. But I was shorter and I had to jump up just to get my leg over and over that crossbar where the seat goes, and you got your body for the handlebars, that bar in the middle. It was very tough to do that on a grown man Olympic size 10 speed when I was 12 and 14 years old. I did it though, and climbed in seriously crazy hills in high gear, not because I wanted to. Out of the two mechanisms, my low gear popped, so there was no switching back and forth. There was only high, and then I did have 5 gears I could go through, but only 2 or 3 of them worked. So I just rode around in high gear most of the time, and I dropped down a little bit to start climbing up a hill, get to where I might be sidewinding a little bit, get some momentum going, pop up to the next gear. I'm going just like I'm driving in a vehicle. The thing is, I couldn't drive a standard car for anything. Now, I can travel around in an automatic shift. However, you get me on some hills in a manual speed vehicle, there might be some issues. Gangsta lean. That's a whole nother thing right there. Things I could do driving an 82 L Dog. Y'all don't even need to know right now. You do not need to know. Because there's layers underneath. So, spoke with this anesthesiologist concerning back in the day, the ether was so heavy, and then you had the whatever else that they would use to kind of blend. That's the reason why when they do go and they're about to do surgery with you and they administer the gas, they tell you to count down from 10. because they need to see how quickly it's affecting you so they know how much to start trickling in to dilute it in order for them to bring you back at a proper time. They know how to go in with a needle and place localized anesthesia where everything else is still working just fine. The thing is, even though everything's working just fine, you don't want a person with their eyes open watching you while they're working on your rotator cuff. Would put some people in shock to see their body open while somebody is picking around and doing things on their anatomy. That's the reason why they put you under for surgery. They don't need you moving all over the place. That anesthesia sometimes also carries a paralytic. It's supposed to keep you still so that they can work on your different muscle fibers and things like that. If you start moving around, you could tear something, cut in the wrong spot, and now you got things disconnected that need to be replaced, reconnected, so forth. So even though they might be working on one little area, they have to take the whole and shut it down properly. Minister Morel, I see you. Familiar name and face. Very tabah to have you here. Samuel X. Coy, I see you. Lee, I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom At Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum. Wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your families, and your circles. So here we go. There's a group of people out there who believe that if you breathe air, soak up the sun rays, and absorb Zedon, you can exist. That's not the reason why I use Xenon as a hashtag when I post my content. I use it because I found out, yes, if you take film theory, if you take filming classes, you will learn about the different filters. That's the reason why there's blue, red, green. Xenon is a noble gas, like neon. So it's light. Not quite as light as helium, and it has a certain hue it picks up on. Now here's the thing, it doesn't just float around blue, because blue doesn't naturally, it doesn't really exist in nature like that. You don't just find blue objects. You all have been learning that the word white is not the same thing as what people are assigning it to. The color that you see of a crayon, white, is not the same as white that naturally occurs. That's clear, that's translucent, that's opaque, see-through. When you see a bird that appears to be blue, it's actually see-through. And the way that the cells are made of its body, of its feathers, have captured light and bent the light to where it shows blue. The bird itself is not blue. Mr. Stevens says, I took those classes too, Khan, photography, a graph, a breakdown of reflection to relate to sight. Yes, sir. Yvonne Ness, I see you. Urban Royalty, I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom At Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum. Wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. What does that all have to do with layers and underneath? You all might notice that on a daily basis, I'll share a picture, and they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. I don't share 1,000 words to go with the picture to tell you what's going on in the picture. I expect you to see certain symbols in the images. And I'll help you along by giving information in the description. As a matter of fact, I will put a hashtag next to the words that I really want you to pay attention to and figure out how it affects what's going on with that picture. Because most of the time I woke up with an idea in my brain and I needed a way to express it. So I will go and render some pictures, line them up, and then go find a way to produce an instrumental if I haven't already got something in place, and publish a video. 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Call Minister Steve. T90 though. T90. Come from WGN. Before there was cable. If you've ever watched Kung Fu Theater, it always starts out the same way. There's this guy who's got the ultimate highest training, and he'd been away, and now he come back to visit, or he's going to go visit some distant relative, and they haven't seen each other in a long time. And he had to make this vow not to use these skills that he learned, because this is martial arts we're talking about. We're not talking about, who can eat the most hot dogs, as they know. This is martial. This is law. This is physically affect somebody. So you have to restrain yourself. You have to reserve energy. Pull it up when you need to. There are layers in the underneath. Eliana Romina, bienvenido. Hashem Yahav Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Welcome. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be on you. Now, Argentina, I believe, yes, they do speak Spanish. I was due to go to Argentina way back a long time ago, over 30 years ago. I was supposed to go there, study Spanish, estudiar España. Española. Estudio Española en escuela in America del Sur. That was the plan. However, I was told no. Tell somebody no enough times, and then they're gonna figure out how to get what they want anyway. So I tried to go to South America. Well, how far did you get? South Texas. Now, I stole that one from Bo Diddley, y'all. That ain't mine. Now, this is as far as I got, though. I hadn't even made it to Mexico yet. Chucho, I see you. Hashem Yahav Elohim. Hermano. Ak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Familiar name and face. Khan, Karate, Tai Chi, Wing Chun. Wing Chun, Tai Chi, Kali Eskrima. Layers in the underneath. This is your triple warmer. This area in your body. This hose and contains your air, your water, food. Breaking down calories produces heat. diffusing the air in your lungs in order to get oxygen and to breathe out carbon dioxide produces heat. Flushing your cells, pushing it through your kidneys and your liver and then out your bladder produces heat. This is your triple warmer. You gain energy through drawing up from the actual connection we have with the planet itself, Earth. And then we're breathing air, wind that came from some trees, wood that could be consumed by fire and then put out by water. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 minutes daily motion of fusion and breakdown and bring back together and flow. Yes, sir. And pay attention when you imbibe in what you eat. 1/3 food, 1/3 water, 1/3 air. You don't just sit there and just fill your stomach up because you thought you were hungry. It's very uncomfortable. It's going to cause cramps, and then your circulatory system isn't working correctly. Your respiratory system isn't working correctly. Your digestive system is not working correctly. You need all of that in order for things to move. There's a reason why you have gas. You're supposed to. That helps pushes things along. Otherwise, you would have just impacted colons. And then it would just be a smell coming out of your pores for real. You need to have that, being able to push it. That's air pressure. That's proof that the pressure is also working with your blood and your lungs. It's still going through there. And then in your heart, it's going through the capillaries and the veins and the arteries. That means that there's a crossover, there's a mixture. Even in a gasoline engine, there's an electrical spark. And then there's that explosion from petrol. It takes both in order for that piston to move. There's layers underneath. Naomi Adia, Israel, I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum. Wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. All the way to the flow. Yes. The reason why toilet paper wasn't needed back then. If your dietary process is working correctly, then no, it doesn't leave very much. However, the best practice is to have some running water and a way to wipe yourself nearby if you don't happen to have wipes. Same way you would treat your infant in changing out a diaper and making sure they're clean. Do that for self. Layers underneath. Generate a picture. And you like the picture, but you want to put your own little extra highlights to it. You might want to add in a little bit of yellow to give that moment of when the sun is rising up, how there's a certain glow. And then in a moment like this, when the sun is going down, that golden hour is what they call it. It's really picking up on this device over here. The golden hour, when you catch the sun rays. And it brings that yellow. Right now we're also getting a golden ratio because there's a spiral that's going on with my face. It's there. And then if I sit long enough, what's going on with that diagonal going back into, yeah. It's the same shape as what's going on with your eardrums. Layers underneath. Came across a new word. Wantrepreneur. What's a wantrepreneur? I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to call my own shots. I want to set my hours. I want to set my pay rate. I want to set my path. I want to choose my tasks. I want to be my own boss. I'm going to choose my own struggle. Find some like-minded individuals who want to do the same thing. Make the population double. Do it a cappella with some fellas. Stand on the corner. Never be a loner. Now, how do I go about this? Find a sole proprietor. Form a partnership. Get into a trust within your community and start forming chests that actually hold weight. And then spread it around. Don't just sit on it. Don't just contemplate, because when you do, then you might arrive way too late. If you have a shipment, then you need to be pushing on through, as the mad trucker would say and do. Don't let that smooth brain syndrome fall upon you. Because I heard something earlier today, as a matter of fact. If you got a swollen brain, then in your head might be too fat. And if so, that would cause smooth brain syndrome. Because the brain is full of a lot of cholesterol, but we don't need that much. Matter of fact, there should be a little bit of water on your brain, y'all. Now, what is this y'all? If you know about you all, have you ever heard about Yod, the hand that assists? But what if I told you it was Yahweh? Couldn't have it unless Yahweh exists. That's how the door got open with the Dalet. Y'all need to quit fighting over dialect and get to work using your real talents. Because when the day comes, your heart will be placed on a balance. And if it's not light as a feather, you're going to have some issues. You see, I walk with Melchizedek, Malachi, where you might say Melchizedek. And if you ain't got your actions right, there's a ticket at a certain gate or several where I will be the one to check. You want to talk to Peter, thinking you're going to get in a book of life when you don't even understand. Arguing about work is just committing strife. That is not the truth. That is not the way. That is not righteousness. And that is not what Yahweh or Yahushua HaMashiach would say. You want to get guided by Ravak HaKadosh? Then go study so that you can learn to make your actions the best. Every time that you try to do something, you strive for excellence. Now, how many times did your phone glitch? How many of those jewels did you miss? Am I really casting out pearls? Do I look like an oyster? Do I need to clam up? Do I look like I boister? Do I look like I bluff? Do I sound like a wolf? Because I'm going to stay sitting on the dock of this bay, chilling, like I'm kicking it with Sam Cooke. Because we was already rocking and rolling before the electric guitar. We was rocking on boats before that one that y'all scared to even talk about. And I'm talking about all of y'all. What about Black Star? What about Marcus Garvey? What about us doing repatriation instead of siding with all the homies? You want to argue about your dialect. You want to argue about your skin hue. You want to argue about your phenotype, but you don't talk about what you do. You see, there's an angel on this shoulder. It writes down everything you think. And then there's another one that writes down everything that you say and what you do, even every time your eyes blink. They go back and they report on you the second you go to sleep. And then they come back when you wake back up. Surely as you're supposed to say this when you open up your peeps. come from Yahweh Elohim. I shall return to Yahweh Elohim, and may Yahweh Elohim be pleased when I return. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ameen. All praises to our source of sustenance and mercy. I come here because I'm on a mission. My mission is to let you all know about Asher. We've been studying the 12 patriarchs. Asher is one of the 12 patriarchs. Well, what's a patriarch? A patriarch is a father, head of a household. Patriarch. There were 12 of them in the house of Yahashariah. We went and found the testaments of all 12 patriarchs. We also found some summaries about what they did. Not just, oh, well, they went and did this, and lo, they went over to this land, and blah, 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 and their name means this and that. No. We wanted to know what kind of mercantile were they responsible for. Everybody want to talk about the fact that all of a sudden the government is taking away our financial freedoms, and they're taking away our benefits. What are we going to do? Buy food that has seeds in it, go dig up some dirt, put the seeds in some dirt, put some water in that, and then let it breathe, and then talk to it every now and then, and let it catch some sunlight. Watch what happens. Consider an apartment something like a storage unit, and a house with an actual yard, a domicile. Consider an apartment a workplace. What if you had a comfortable cubicle? Your own luxury suite cubicle. That's what an apartment is. Now, can you have some plants lined up around whatever window you got? Yes, you sure can. Yes. And you can grow stuff, and then whoever else is in an apartment next to you, they can be growing stuff too. Yes. So that's a community building trust. And then you get the treasures, and you fill up the chests, you spread it around, so that the workmen and the maidens and everybody else can come in and rebuild and maintain and be properly recompensed for their efforts, for their work, because it wasn't just a task. They were doing what they were naturally talented to do. Have you ever used your talents to support your livelihood? How often do you go find other people and support them for them using their talents for their livelihood? And I'm not talking about going and watching a basketball game. Everybody's talking about there's supposed to be some kind of general strike in order for everything to shut down. Shall I remind you of history? If you want to have a general strike that would shut everything down, for you to have a strike means that you report to somebody. See, there's a higher up, and you're negotiating because you're part of this union of people who want some changes. So you have to go and report to and list out the things that you have disagreements, and also list out the demands for the changes. And there's to be somebody that you send that list to in order for them to say, okay, well, yes, we agree, and we'll make these changes. That means you're at the mercy of someone who has power over you. So even after the strike is over, these people are going to still be over you, whether your demands are met or not. That's a strike. Now, the last time I checked, there's no consumer union. Let me know if there is. Put that in reply in the comments. Does anybody know about a consumer union? Hmm? I know there's a consumer report. Tell you all about what you buy, what people who are connected with you in the same zip code buy. People can vouch for you, or they could say negative things. And that could be people who are credit collectors, or even people who are in your life, relatives, neighbors, even politicians. Consumer report. Now, as far as I know, there is no consumer union. However, there's this one nation, this one global nation that reportedly is the largest band of consumers on the globe. They pretty much keep capitalism alive. Selah. Roger Deary. Angel March. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum. Wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. The Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. See you, man. Still with the crossover and the fade. 10-foot jumper. I saw that. Go ahead. Go ahead. What's your question, Brother Steve? Rico Vaughn is in the building. Bienvenuto. Welcome. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question? We've been going about 45 minutes. I guess we can kick out at least 60 minutes. The aura that people see, what is that? That's a great question. I like questions like that because I got special sight. Now, it's not something that I just tell people about all the time or anything like that. You see it apparent in the work that I do. Just like you've heard about certain artists, like the guy who drew the Starry Night, and it's like explosions, and it's just paint, and the way he layered the paint to look like explosions of stars. And he did the sunflowers, Van Gogh. Did the portrait, Van Gogh. The textures that he uses. But there's also the fact that there's a certain vision if you're nearsighted or if you're farsighted, right? There we go. All right. Now, see, I'm nearsighted, but I also have stigmatism. So things are slightly off focus to me. These are not my actual prescription. They do help. I can read the screen. Otherwise, no, I'd be like this, right? So, what was that? SP 1971. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum. Wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Oh yeah, by the way, T9C, caffeine. Caffeine. So when a person says that they see auras, there could be a slight hue around a person. Like you can kind of see the fringes of my gray hair, but then that's also causing a disturbance with the light. You can see that radiating. You can see it coming off my shoulders. That's why I said that golden hour lighting, that film effect is a real thing. You can see it in my hair. For the longest, I always told people my hair is not black, my hair is not brown. I told people it was blue. I wanted my hair to be really, really brown or red. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden people started calling me red. And it wasn't just because of this, it was because of this too. I wanted it and it was already there. But that's also part of my makeup. You won't see me wearing a bunch of red in an outfit or yellow because it throws off my hues. It throws off that vibration that I'm emanating. Why do I like xenon? Because I am a blue vibration. We've studied green, yellow, orange, red, blue, indigo. We know what they mean. I come from the Emerald Throne, and I represent blue. One of my names is Sapphire. Saphir, sapphire. Heard of that stone? No, you're not tripping at all. And see, I don't even know the numbers. There we go. There we go. If I told you you can call me Abdullah Maliki Safar, that tells you my story. Abdullah Maliki is part of Malakai Zadak. Safar is that stone. There's layers to the below. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have to ask Chucho about that one. Family, I'm not playing with you when I tell you I need you all interacting with me over in Discord. There's a lot that we can joke about and we can play the code game and all that kind of stuff while we're out here. Because that's what this is. This is a port. Earlier I said something about my brother doing a cross-platform, doing a crossover with a fade, because he did. We were talking MMA earlier because, yes, I am into MMA, and I could just as easily give you references about ethics and entrepreneurship talking about martial arts, but I don't do it from a spectator view. And I got a really important DM the other day that was talking about that. You got a person who's just the lay person or just generally advised, just knows enough, knows what a punch is, knows what a kick is, and knows that that person laid out on the mat lost, but that one that's still standing won. I want to be the one that's still standing. So I got to do the best kicks and the best punches. Then you got the other person who's been studying everybody for the last 15, 20 years of documented history of MMA fights. And that person would be able to tell you who's the most undisputed champ, who's the champ now, who should be the champ, and who's the questionable champ. If you sit them down in the same room and you have a discussion between the two, some of the statements from that so-called expert might just bounce off the forehead of the other person because they're not picking up on all that. The same for a person who's just watching. Why is that important? Because right now, analytically speaking, to analyze the situation, I get more views from people who do not know who I am, who have never heard of me, who just happen to pop in because I'm in front of the camera talking. Sometimes they hear Farsi tongue. Sometimes they hear Proto-Canaan, Paleo-Hebrew. Other times, yeah, it's English. Other times it's Spanish. They're hearing me say thank you in both Italian and Spanish, then turn around and say it in the Russian tongue, turn around and start talking about compassion and saying it in Chinese and in Japanese. Makes you wonder, well, who is this person? Where are they? Because I haven't heard of anybody that talks that way. People over in that region, they don't talk like that. How would they even know that exists? Peace be upon him. That's exactly what happened when Prophet Muhammad revealed Surah Al-Fatiha, not just to his wife, but also to the people in Mecca, also known as Becca. Later, when he had to go over to Axum, known as Ethiopia, and tell the people there. Later, when he had to go, did he go to Media? No, he didn't go to Media. What's the name of that place he went to, y'all? He had to leave Mecca, and they had to journey, because they were ostracized. No matter where he went, he had a message. No, they had to leave Mecca and go to Medina. That was it. See, there's Medina, and then there's Median. Minister Steve, you were getting somewhere when you were in Jasher. All you had to do was take about 3 more steps, because there's an important key, a very important secret that nobody has really discovered yet and opened up the door to really think about it, and it's right there. That's the reason why I'm looking forward to these 30 days that are coming up when we're going to be studying the Jews. J-U-Z. We studying the sections of the Quran, the 30 Jews. Lots of important information that people have been skipping over because they haven't been reading and reviewing it. How should I study the Bible? Open it up at the very beginning and start with the first word until you get all the way to the last word. And if you got confused, start all over again. How should I read the Apocrypha? Open it up and start with the first word and read it all the way through till you get to the end. If you have some situations in there, start over and do it again. How do I read the Quran? You start at the first word and you read it all the way through. And if you had any confusion, anything that confounded you, anything that you had a concern about, you start all over and you read it all the way through. They'll tell you in the Quran, it's very repetitive. It's repetitive enough to where you start to figure out the things that you are supposed to take home with you, that you're supposed to keep here and keep there, keep in your life, in your heart, in your law. The Midianites and Joseph, we getting there. They refused to give in to dangerous people. They weren't our enemies at all. But there's more to the story. There's more to the story, my brother. Musa, Moshe, met them way before Joshua and all of that. Way before Yahushua. Because yes, Yahushua was a name before we had the Messiah. We got to go all the way back. When Moshe had to leave for striking down that man, and he had to go and pay penance, he spent time in 2 different regions. In one of those regions, their leader had died. There was nobody who was of the qualifications to lead the people. There was a child there who was getting prepared, so Moshe had to stop and teach and train this child. And he was the leader until the child grew up. Then later on, he traveled, and his next stop was the one that we all know about, as far as dealing with burning bushes and everything. Not being able to go up to the top of the mountain, and when he got there, he had to remove his sandals because it was holy ground and so forth. We had to make a stop before he got there, and stayed there for a couple of decades. Made a pact with these people, made a bond with these people. Now, the same way, he knew that there's a certain time when the sea of reeds breaks apart and then resets. And they kept almanacs because they kept their history, not for decades, for millennia, for eons, for thousands of years, for hundreds of thousands of years. They kept the same history. It's interwoven in the very fabric of their life, not just the fabric that they wear, their every movement, because they lived reflecting what was going on with the system that was already established, the system that was taught to Adam. Adam wasn't just a man, it was a whole family. That's how Adam was able to teach his two sons, and then one of them, his life was taken away, and then that second son was sent off to be with some people who already existed, the Canaanites. And this man named Cain happened to speak the same language and could wear a symbol on his head, and they knew exactly who he was and where he was from. They spoke the same language. So by the time he came around them and he said, well, look, this is what happened, and my father is so-and-so, we know who you are. And we see you got to carry that cross. We understand. It wasn't brand new. It was the symbol saying, here you go. This is what happens. Here's your sign. You crossed the line. Here's your sign. Why did Abraham, give a tribute to Melchizedek? Because he was already part of Melchizedek. Noah, Methuselah, Seth. As of today, the first known Muslim that we know of is Adam, because we haven't gone further back than that to give a name. There's layers to the below. When I tell you that I need your support, it's because, yes, I do have albums out there. That doesn't mean that I'm making a lot of money off of them. An artist doesn't make any money unless you directly support them. You know why they keep putting stories about Spotify in your face? It's a distraction. What entertainer or celebrity or even major company label do you know of became huge off of just using one platform? Radio stations are spread across whatever country you happen to be on the globe. Whatever provinces and counties and states and all of that that's broken down inside of that particular country, there are radio stations in each one of those places so that the signal can be broadcasted. It didn't start out for your entertainment. It started because there needed to be a news signal. There needed to be a way for military to be able to talk with each other. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Even these social media platforms, while you're mad and scurrying around talking about you want to protect your data, and then they got people doing there are people doing comedies and parodies off of you. And it's the truth. What data are you actually afraid of them taking? Your consumer data? What you buy? You already wear the brands. You already wear the logos. This ain't Ralph Lauren. This is a Walmart special. And it's lasted me quite a long time. My mama bought me this shirt. Alberto Moreno, Matt Bear, bienvenuto, welcome. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Those Midianites, there wasn't some angel of death that appeared with some wings and a dark cloud that killed the firstborn of the Comatians. There was a group of people who came, and they were looking for a certain symbol on doors, and if that symbol was there, they left that house alone. But if there was no symbol, woe to that household. Later on, this same group of people, this same village, this same town became very, very opulent, very rich. Thing is, they became corrupted by the very treasures that they had collected that had made them so powerful. They became corrupted. So yeah, they did a service for Yahashua, for Joshua, the one that ran around with Moshe. There's a certain order of priests, let's talked about, that were put away into caves to protect them, because there was an evil priestess going around ending the lives of those who were speaking in righteousness. We got a lot of studying to do. Judah Stallworth, I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. The Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your families, and your circles. At the beginning of Surah, sometimes there's some characters. And there's a mystery behind those characters. Nobody knows why they're there. They're there. You don't know why. Psalms 119. If you get each character and you go back and you assign it. Aleph, Lam, Mim. Now there is charity, there is zakat. You talk about tithes and offerings. There's Alif Lam Mim. And then there's following what it is that Aleph, 8 verses. Lam, there's 8 verses. Mim, it's another 8 verses. And you can figure out what was being said in the surah to the people. Because each of the surah that are revealed in the Quran are because people were asking questions. Well, if we're not supposed to do all this stuff that we've been doing, what's righteous? And Prophet Muhammad, Allahu Sallallahu Wa Sallam, our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon him and all prophets before and after him. They would come to him and ask and ask and ask and ask and ask. And he'd say, give me a minute, I need to pray about it. I'll return with an answer. Praying does not mean, oh, I'm going to go think about it and then I'm going to go and put in a petition with Adon, with the Lord, and find out what the answer is. Pray about it does not mean, well, I'm going to go over here in the corner and I'm going to say some real elaborate, pretty words about it. I'm going to go speak over some people and make them feel great about it. That's not what prayer means. It means I'm going to go and think about it. I'm going to say something about it. Then I'm going to get up and do actions towards an end goal. It's a contract that you're going to hold up your part. Con. Yes, it's an agreement. It's an agreement. That's why immediately when you open your eyes, the first thing you do that yom, that period of day, is you say, I come from our Father, I shall return to our Father. May our Father be pleased when I return. That means, may our Father grant me strength, grant me sustenance, give me security and focus while I go and do work on the divine path. And the second I've completed a task, I say thank you. Tada Abba. Ashukran Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praises to our source of sustenance and mercy. Now please, may I have some more? Rabbish Fearly. Wa Rahmani, wa Shbani, wa Fani, wa Zukni, wa Dini, wa Ofini. Allahu Akbar. Our great Father, our great teacher, thank you for the strength that you give. Please give me more sustenance while I strive for higher stature in traveling the divine path. Please forgive me for my mistakes. Ameen. Hit the ground running like that. Y'all seen the meme? Be the type of woman that Satan is afraid of because you hit the ground running in the name of Yahweh Elohim. Okay, well, y'all stop sharing all these memes. I need for you to start doing it. I need you to be it. Sharing words don't mean nothing. You know how I know? I share words and pictures with you all and barely get support. Think about it. Say lie. I said it. There's a few people, I can count them on one hand, who actually do make sure that I do have something that besides air on my stomach. Speak life into the ones you love. Khan. Lee, I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom at Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. You all complaining because of what the government is threatening to do. Or we're going to take away your toys. I don't need your stinking toys, no way. See, that's how you got to think. Silver Smith, I see you. Familiar name and face. Gary C., I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom at Barak. Retired deer hunter? I see you. I see you, brother. I see you. 10-4. 10-4. Loud and clear. What's happening? What's illegal? Layers. I could post up 5 albums, have them available in 250 different streaming sites or storefronts that have merchandise with sweaters and all that kind of stuff, right? And throw merchandise at you. Now, is that necessarily what's needed? Is the question. Or is that just an attempt at grabbing the bag? When you see me post hashtag 2020 vision, it's because I had already made it to that level 5 years ago. When you were reacting to Black Lives Matter, when you were reacting to should we wear a mask, when you were reacting to should we stay home, I was already hashtag working from home. I've been on that since 1999. I was partying like 1999 and 99, and before then, what were you doing? Some of y'all ain't really been to a party, and it shows. Jazakallah, Minister Steve. May several blessings return to you from my Father. Crazy Tent Town. Hashem Yahweh Shalom Barak. I like that name. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. As to everybody who's here. Purchasing a track from an artist directly, whether it's songs from the album that they're selling, or directly contact them and ask them, hey, can you do something for me? I like how you did that particular style with that song or with that video or whatever. Hey, how you doing? What's uppers?
Just nice, bro. How about you?
Doing the usual. Just doing the usual. You want to say hi to the world?
Oh, yeah. So Larry wanted to like me back.
See there? What did I tell you? Just show him that smile.
He didn't want it to be known. Are you talking to the world on there?
Now, what did I just say?
Oh, my God. You got so many followers. Oh, my God. I'll let you get back to it. I'll come back. I'll be back.
Halal Yahweh. That's why I do this. Walashir. Surely mankind is at a loss by time. Surely mankind is at a loss, except for those who do tabah deeds amongst each other, holy, righteous deeds amongst each other daily with patience and consistency. Be sabir. Ashir is a surah. You just heard it. Be sabir means patience and consistency. Allahu Akbar. Our Father is the greatest. Alhamdulillah. Praise our Father. Go out there and be the reason somebody smiles. Wookie, I see you. User 580-313-70884. I see you. Kohalet, I see you. It's very tabah to have you here. I'm gonna need for you to start referencing the stop program more often, sir. I'm gonna need for you to start driving the people to me because I can't just do it alone. I'm gonna need for you to assign how it does show and affect families and family values, especially when we're working from home. Because there's more than just homeschooling. There's more than knowing the love languages. If we're not actually being prosperous from home, well, then what's the worth? We came all the way this far, now what? Write your resume. Fire your boss. and hire yourself out to be of service in the kingdom of Yahweh Elohim. You see somebody that needs help, don't ask them if they need help. If you know that they need help, that means you got empathy. So the next thing is you show some compassion and you help them out. If you can't help them out, you find somebody who can. Immediately. That means you're focused on it and you've become occupied with it. That's called humility. Anava. Now you're showing compassion. Amitaba. Amitobo. Amitofo. Chinese, Japanese. See, that's how we move. When somebody asks you, how do you prove that Yahweh Elohim is real? You say, okay, well, there's standards that Yahweh Elohim told me to live by. And when I live by those standards, then I apply my knowledge. And when I put it into action, then that goes into an experience. That experience is led by the wisdom of Ravak HaKadosh. And when I'm doing those things, then I'm living my life the same way that Yahashua HaMashiach lived as an example. That's how we show that Yahweh Elohim is real. Blessed are those who have faith in the intangible, because they will inherit the earth and the kingdom and be blessed as the children of Yahweh Elohim. Cut and dry. We got a lot of work to do. Please contact me. You got the DMs. You can contact me in the comment section. You can contact me in messages. You can go back and find these recordings. You can go onto my YouTube channel and you can just flip through to your heart's content, find whatever videos you like. Tell me all about it. I like this video. Can you make a video like that for me? Do you actually have a business? I tell you what, I make custom videos. If you're willing to spend $60 on a box of business cards, how about you spend $60 with me and I can show you what you can do with a short video and the amount of people that can watch a short video compared to what's going to happen with your business card. Do you have a website, or are you just relying on one of these social media platforms? Do you have any idea how to actually properly invest in cryptocurrency? And I'm not talking about just buying coins. Do you know how to generate your own coin? Do you know how to access an e-wallet that has the same access that E-Trade has without all the extra fees? Do you know what it is to spend gas in cryptocurrency? Do you know what it is to move along a blockchain? Has anyone ever explained to you the importance of putting a copyright on your intellectual property? But if you say no, and you standing in front of my face and you've looked at my content, then I'm gonna tell you you're lying, because that's what I talk about all the time. That's what I do. Problem is you've been ignoring it. Now who's wrong? Because like I said, I'm having some trouble trying to eat because y'all are enjoying my work and you're not investing back. You can put in a request for me to put in work for you. Donations, suggestions, and requests are welcome. Please help me so I can help you. Y'all trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing. Well, how do I prove it? What is your natural talent? What can you do to serve your community properly and positively? Talk to me. Till next time. Many much love and respect. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom HaBarak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.